Point of View is powered by Airtel Tigo Extra. Even our bonus data doesn't expire. You dey feel am? Dial *111# to activate now. Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Welcome to The Point of View. This is your favorite current affairs show on television. On The Point of View, we usually get the right guests. We ask them relevant questions on issues that matter to you. But sometimes we just forget about guests and do analysis. And it's a few days to the NPP primaries in over 160 constituencies that they have sitting MPs. So tonight I'm going to be doing, I won't really call it an editorial, I'm going to do an analysis. I'm going to walk with you through our top 12 constituencies, which we believe will be most controversial, which we believe will be most important for the party. But I'm going to use a very interesting approach with both data and reports from the field. And we are going to also predict who's going to win this constituency. So if you're watching, get your friends to tune in, because we're going to tell you why we think the people we are choosing to win would win. We've done quite a lot of work across the country. So when we come back, I'm going to walk you through my approach. This is The Point of View. If you want to contribute to the show you're watching on TV, send me your thoughts. Whether you agree with us or not, send us your comments on the WhatsApp number on the screen. And of course, if you're watching on Facebook as well, be free to tell us what you think of our 12 most controversial constituencies. Number 2, who we think would win, what factors would drive the election. And as we build up to Saturday, you'll learn a few more things about what's happening on the ground. Stay with us. Don't forget, we are still in COVID-19 times, so sanitizing is great. I'm alone here, so I'm not wearing my mask, but I have a nice one here. Make sure you stay safe. Social distancing is critical as well. The COVID count is now over 12,000. 66 have died. 4,000 have recovered. We're praying that more will recover. So let's stay safe. So tonight is politics on The Point of View. So let me start by telling you what my 12 constituencies I'm working with tonight are. Some we've chosen because of pure controversy, because of the people involved. Some we've chosen because we think that who wins has an important outcome because some incumbents are facing some challenge. And we've also tried to be regionally balanced. We've chosen 3 constituencies in the eastern region we think are going to be very important. 3 in the Greater Accra. 3 in the Greater Accra. We've chosen 4 in Ashanti, 1 in Upper East and 1 in the Northern, and then 1 in BA. Now, our Eastern region constituencies that we are going to analyze tonight, Mpraeso, Nkoko, and New Juaben South. Now, there are about 5 Kwewu constituencies. We've chosen 2 of them. The other is Abetifi and Afram Plains North and South. Abetifi is Brian Champon is going unopposed, so we won't talk about that. The Mpraeso and Nkoko races are very interesting. We'll do some analysis there. Then, I think the most important race this year is in New Juaben South, and I'll explain why. New Juaben South, it's serious. A lot of people are there as I talk to you. There's a lot of action there. Then I'll come to Greater Accra. Greater Accra, I'm going to do 3 constituencies, but I'll start with 2. I'll start with Dome-Kwabenya. Now, if you follow the election petition in 2012, you notice that Dome-Kwabenya was one of the key reasons the NPP went to court, because they felt that when they looked at the voter numbers and what they were originally given and how eventually they got 15,000 more votes, it was part of their case. And very interestingly, the 2 contenders were involved. So Adjoa Safu's constituency was one of the key submissions the NPP used in the argument. And Michael Kwe Jr. was part of the legal team. So Dome-Kwabenya is going to be strong. We're going to pick Okaikoi South for a very interesting reason. And then later on, we'll talk about Tema East. Those are the 3 we're focusing on for Greater Accra. Ashanti has the highest number of constituencies for the NPP. And most people think that if you win Ashanti NPP primaries, you're in parliament. We've chosen 4, not because they are the most competitive, but because some of them have some interesting names. We've chosen Bantama. We've chosen Mpraeso, Richard Ananis in Mpraeso, the former Ananis in Mpraeso. We've chosen Adansi Asokwa, where our man Katie Hammond is going against a strong support for the first time in a long time. And then we have Ejisu for analysis as well. Then if you go to the north, we have Yendi. I was at the Yendi last year, joined the Heritage Caravan, saw some interesting people, visited the Yana. He gave my boss a ram in Batakari, beautiful place, Yendi. Made some good friends there. We'll go to Yendi, where we have a dead heat. We'll take you to Navrongo Central, where 2 sitting ministers are slugging it out. And then we would end at Wenchi in the Bono region. Now, so first point, if you think that we chose the wrong constituency, let us know. We are happy to amend as the program goes. But these are the constituencies we've chosen. Now, let's talk about the factors we think determine who wins these primaries. We've chosen 5 factors. I'm going to show you on the screen shortly. 5 factors that decides who wins, yes. The first one we call executive/delegate dynamics. I'll explain that. We also have who has Jubilee House support, which is quite obvious. Now, point 3 typically feeds from point 2, but it's not always the case. There are some constituencies where, notwithstanding Jubilee House support, somebody could have more resources. Point 4 shows up in certain constituencies. We call it incumbency fatigue. We are tired of you. You've been there for too long. That's an interesting one. That's in about 4 of the constituencies we're discussing. And then, of course, local issues are always important. Where is he from? What work does he do? Has he gone to this person's funeral? When the president visited, did he come to his house? All those things. Now, let's talk about executive delegate dynamics. Now, I think the most important factor determining who wins which seat is point number 1. Because don't forget that these primaries are not the main elections. There's always the regional constituency elections. Now, usually, you can tell who's going to win the party's primary by which executives win. And let me show you the breakdown of delegates. I'll come back to this thing, but the breakdown of delegates is important in the conversation. So who is the delegate? Who can vote in a party primary for the NPP? So you have constituency executives. Now, they are typically 18. Chairman, vice chairman, secretary, organizer, treasurer, women organizer, youth organizer, all these people. They are 18 plus the MP. So for every constituency, you have these people. Of course, the MP, if he's incumbent, to vote for himself, right? Then there's the constituency council of elders. There are 5 per constituency, typically. Then they also have council of patrons. So these are 10 elderly, mature, respected people in a constituency, former MPs and things like this. Then you have something called electoral area coordinators, who are based on a number of electoral areas. So every electoral area has 1 coordinator. So if there are 18 electoral areas, you have 18 coordinators. That type of thing. But look at the final box. That's where the numbers are. 5 polling station executives times the number of polling stations. Now, in the previous election in 2016, we had 26,000 polling stations in Ghana. So if you look at the average number of polling stations per constituency, so for example, for Mpraeso, you have 588 delegates. If you take out the maybe 18 plus 10, 28, 29 or 30, most of the people who are going to vote are coming from the bottom, the right, the box on your right. Now, so what do we mean by executive/delegate dynamics? Well, you can have a constituency where all the executives support somebody. But if a candidate manages to reach delegates, he can say to the executives, well, I don't need you. But that's very tricky. Because if the executives, who are sort of like the custodians of the album, that's a very important word you'll be hearing throughout today's show. So let's assume you have an executive where the chairman, the secretary all support you. You may not be very good with delegates, but they can manipulate sometimes the album to favor you. Or you could have executives who are against you, and you go directly to the delegates and say, look, vote for me. You go to all these polling station people. But if the executives decide to change the album and bring people you don't know, who are not part of the group you expect to vote, you could lose. right? So this is a very important point that for all the constituencies we are analyzing will keep coming up. Now, if you follow the campaign trail, you'll notice that almost every time we interview people, they said, we hope the album has not been changed. Dome-Kwabenya, there was an issue with the album. Mpraeso, issue with the album. So the album thing is key. Now, point number 2 always happens in the first term of a government. So whether it's Kufuor 2004 or NDC 2012, typically you would have people who, after they've been appointed by the executive or because of their closeness to the president or the center of power, use that influence to get more resources, bragging rights, and they typically do very well. And of course, you have resources, money. Now, our team says point number 3 for this election. Point number 3 is the most important point for this election. This is what Samiri Afe, Duke Mensah Opoku and co have been telling us. They say, and in fact, when we did our research with our teams on the ground, for certain constituencies, they said, look, the person with more money is going to win. We'll explain that. Then, of course, there's incumbency fatigue. So there are certain constituencies where somebody has been MP for 3 terms. Now, if you're MP for 3 terms, you will make friends, but you also make enemies. Some people are just tired, they are brave. And then, of course, there are local dynamics. Now, I'm going to use this framework to analyze 12 constituencies. Now, if you're watching and you think that my 5 points are not exhaustive enough, I'll be happy to hear from you. Do you think I've missed the point? Which of these points do you think is most important? If you're a delegate watching me, which of these points do you think is most important? Now, let me start with the Eastern region. Now, the Eastern region has about 34 constituencies, but I'm picking 3. I'm going to start with Mpraeso. We have tipped Mpraeso to be an interesting race for a number of reasons. There's a 3-term MP, Seth Kwame Champong, and then there's a young Turk, Davis Ansa Opoku. Those of you know Alliance for Accountable Governance, AFAG. He was the director of operations. There were 2 key pressure groups that helped the NPP come to power. Alliance for Accountable Governance and Let My Vote Count Alliance. Davis, a tech boy, was the director of operations for AFAG. We interviewed him many times in the lead up to 2016 election. Now, Seth Kwame Champong is a 3-term MP. He's a construction engineer by profession, chairs the Defense and Interior Committee, has been on the Gender and Children Committee. He's from Etibie in Kwewu. Now, this constituency is interesting because even though Seth is 3-term MP, some of the people who support Davis have made it very interesting. So our research tells us that people like Gabi seem to like Davis a lot. Some people say Brian Champong supports Davis. So, look, Brian Champong is quite an interesting figure. He owns a huge hotel. We were there for Heritage Caravan. Big hotel at Nkwetia, which is his hometown. And so, even though Seth is very popular, we think Davis will put up a good fight because he has some interesting, influential people in NPP supporting him. But depending on which album is used, and we think that Seth has done enough work on the delegate side and on the executive side, we think that this one will be too much for Davis. So Seth Champong is going to maintain his seat. This is our prediction. This is a very easy one for us. Based on all the work we've done, we think that Davis will put up a good fight, but Seth Kwame Champong, very influential in parliament, not a minister yet. One of the reasons we found was that, in these constituencies, creating jobs for people is very important. And we know that the MP in his 3rd term, he's done quite a lot of work, gotten a lot of young people employed in various institutions. We won't mention the institutions here. It may lead to a scandal and phone calls. But when we checked the ground, Seth Kwame Champong's work on the ground created jobs for people. He seems to be in the lead. So our prediction is that for Mpraeso constituency, Seth Kwame Champong is going to win. Based on the 5 factors we put on the screen, Seth Kwame Champong is going to win. Now, this is our prediction. We've given you the assumptions. Davis has great support from some key influential people, but Seth is on the ground. He's done good work for people, created jobs in some state agencies, very respected in Parliament, on important committees in Parliament, and he will win. So that's our first verdict. So he will be a fourth-term MP. Seth is going to win. Now, two of the most interesting constituencies in this election are in the Eastern region. Nkoko was very, very difficult to predict. But I'm going to run you through what we got. Let's tell you who the people are. There are 6. David Asante Boateng was the convener of Let My Vote Count Alliance. This is the second pressure group. You notice these young NPP guys, David, built their clout working for the party from the fringes. Very well known nationally. But David Boateng Asante, from our research, is not as strong on the ground. So he's very visible. He's the CEO of the Ghana Publishing Company. So if you see some of the posters he's put out, if you go to Nkoko, you know David Asante Boateng is running. But the work we've done shows that he hasn't built enough roots in the delegates and on the ground. So even though David is visible, he's behind the 2 people next to him. The front runners are the Eastern Regional Minister, the man in the middle, Eric Kwachi Darfur, and Joyce Opoku Boateng, Mami lawyer. Now, let's give you some quick things. Now, Eric Kwachi Darfur is from Obokwewu. He is the regional minister, very popular in the rural parts of the constituency. There was a very interesting news item on Star FM last week that all 13 delegates say they support him. In Koko, there's a story from Star News. Let me read that story. In Koko, constituency executives declare support for the incumbent MP. The story says 13 constituency executives of the ruling NPP in Nkoko of the Eastern region have declared their unalloyed support for Eric Kwachi Darfur, the incumbent MP. The decision, according to the constituency executives, was taken at a constituency executive meeting after consultation with constituents living both within and outside the jurisdiction. And then they issued a statement. He's being keenly... Now, this statement is important because the lady lawyer Joyce Boateng is very, very formidable. She's the deputy CEO of the Middle Belt Authority. Now, the Middle Belt Authority is one of the authorities that is implementing the 1 million per constituency project. And lawyer Joyce is doing a lot of work to get the Nkoko Stadium renovated. In fact, that issue led to almost a scuffle at Ago FM recently, where because of her connection to that project and her willingness to revamp the stadium, mind you, once you revamp Nkoko Stadium, Okoye United have a good playing ground. A lot of people in Nkoko like that. So she's quite formidable in Nkoko. But what the regional minister has is not just some of the executives as we read for you, but also his work in the rural areas, because he's the regional minister. He travels around a lot. Being a regional minister is a very big position in a place like Nkoko. So Joyce and Eric are the 2 key people. Lawyer Joyce is from Oboming. The minister is from Obo. David Asante Boateng is from Oboming. There are 3 other people, just to give you some context. Seth Ajeba is a businessman, owns Shaba Industries. One of the elections, he went independent, still won. He's an NPP guy. We don't think he's done enough work to win this time around. He's probably just coming back to show his face so they know he's still NPP. Kwabena Edusan Okeitre, former MP, he was beaten by Shaba. Interestingly, in that year, Kufuor won in Nkoko. Lawyer Okeitre was the NPP candidate. Shaba beat him quite handsomely. So both are NPP people. We don't think they have enough recall. Our analysis means they can't do well. Joseph Frimpong is interesting. Teacher and a businessman. We hear he's being supported by some strong people, but our feeling is that he doesn't have the gravitas that the regional minister and the Middle Belt deputy CEO have. So it's a straight fight between the minister and Joyce. Now let's predict. Our prediction is that even though Joyce Opoku Boateng is a formidable candidate, because there are so many contenders, it gives the incumbent an advantage. So I'm predicting that the regional minister, Eric Kwachi Darfur, is going to win it slightly. This is not going to be a big margin. It's not going to be a big margin. We don't know if anybody will withdraw. but we think that the minister is going to retain his seat. So far, let's do the final Eastern Region constituency, then I'll take you to some reports after a break. Now, this was one of the most difficult constituencies for me to predict because we've spoken to different people, we've sent people there. New Juaben South, I think, is one of the most eagerly anticipated constituencies. 582 delegates. Now, who are the two contenders? Mark Esibeyeboa, chairman of Finance Committee. I can tell you that about 60% of what the work of Parliament does, approving of some loan. Finance Committee is arguably the most powerful committee in Parliament. Chairman of the committee works closely with Ministry of Finance because all the loan agreements must go through that committee. So Mark Esibeyeboa has a high position in Parliament, very visible. Almost every parliamentary day, Duke Mensah Opoku interviews him, Mark Esibeyeboa. But the trouble is that he's going up against somebody who has a very important position as well. Now, Michael Otrebefi is the CEO of the Ghana Free Zones Board. Now, in 2015, the two came head to head, and Esibeyeboa won by just 70 votes. So it was a very close race in 2015. Now, usually when I give you my top 5 points, we are reliably informed that the presidency supports Otrebefi. Of course, they won't admit this openly, but I'll give you a quick clue. President did a 3-day tour of the Eastern region. When he got to Koforidua, he had lunch at Michael Otrebefi's house. Now, that should tell you something. But the other thing is that in Parliament has this unwritten code that they don't want leadership to be contested. So whether it's Che Mensah Bonsu for Siame or Joe Wise for Bekwai, if you are part of the leadership of Parliament, they feel that it doesn't help the work of Parliament for important parliamentary workers to be removed. It doesn't send a good signal. So I can tell that most MPs who saw my promo today said Mark Esibeyeboa is going to win. Now, if I were going to predict a month ago, I would have said to you that Michael Otrebefi was going to win because Michael had been doing a lot of work in New Juaben South. But in the past 2 weeks, Mark Esibeyeboa has closed the gap. And because of his finance committee work, he has some interesting support within government, even though the presidency supports Michael Otrebefi. So for New Juaben South, our verdict is that it's too close to call. In fact, our regional correspondent said to us that the dynamics keep changing every day. He says he's seen people who work at the Jubilee House in the constituency, and he cannot tell me who's going to win. So, Eastern region, New Juaben South, point of view, too close to call. We may know by Saturday morning, but we can't tell you. It's a dead heat. We don't know. We don't know. This is the point of view. We're doing an analysis. So we've done Eastern region. I'll take a short break. When I come back, I'm going to take you to the Greater Accra region. Then I'll take you to Ashanti. And then I will do a very interesting constituency as well. This is the point of view. We are doing analysis of Saturday's primaries, 5 drivers of who's going to win, some local dynamics. So far, we've predicted that Seth Kwame Champion is going to beat Davis Opoku Ansa. We've predicted that the Eastern Regional Minister will maintain in Koko. We are not sure who's going to win New Juaben South. We are not sure. If you had asked us a month ago, we would have said it was Befi easily. But the Esibeyeboa has managed to stake a comeback. So we don't know who's going to win. It's too close to call. This is the point of view. Don't go away.
Extra data, extra minutes, and extra unlimited calls. Not just that, even our extra data doesn't expire. See the film? Simply dial *111# to bundle now.
Airtel Tigo. Life
is simple.
Businesses are evolving with the changing times, and the Citi Business Festival is doing the same. In the month of June, the Citi Business Festival goes digital. Citi TV, in collaboration with Absa Bank, will give SMEs the opportunity to reboot their businesses with expert forums, discussion platforms, and interactive Zoom sessions. There will be a lesson for every business. Join the virtual business forums every Tuesday in June at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and gain the knowledge you need to kickstart your business. Explore new ways of engaging your customers with the e-commerce forum on Tuesday, the 9th of June at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Get tips from the Agribusiness Forum on how to create another career in agribusiness on Tuesday, the 16th of June 2020 at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And get all the industry knowledge with the Trade Forum on the topic, Will Export Trade Be the Same Again? On the 23rd of June 2020 at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Revamp your business and work environment this June with the virtual business forums only on Citi TV every Tuesday at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. To be interactive and ask questions pertinent to your business, join in the forum via Zoom. To participate via Zoom, register by calling 0205-973-973. That's 0205-973-973. Citi Business Festival is powered by Citi TV and Absa Bank with support from the Ghana Investments and Promotion Center.
Welcome back to The Point of View. Today we are predicting our top 12 constituencies. We've chosen 12, 3 in Greater Accra, 4 in Ashanti, 3 in Eastern, 1 in Upper East, 1 in the North, 1 in BA. So far we've told you in Mpraeso the incumbent will win, in Koko incumbent will win. We've also said we don't know who's going to win New Juaben South. Although I need to tell you that my political desk felt that we shouldn't be surprised if Ochebefi pulls a surprise. But we can't tell at this moment. Now, Dome-Kwabenya, huge constituency. Now, for a long time, it was the largest constituency in Ghana. It was split in before 2004 elections. Now, I've lived in that constituency for many years, so I know that when the constituency was split, it became very NPP. NDC has not gotten 40%. They've always got below 30%, partly because of the ethnic mix of the constituency. Lots of Akans and then some Ewes and Gans. It's a highly urbanized constituency, 90% urban. Over 150,000 voters expected to vote in that constituency in 2020. Some of the large towns are Dome, Taifa, Kwabenya, Agbogba, Hacho, and Atomic. Now, 2 terms, Okaikoi Senior, the current Speaker of Parliament, was MP. Then Sarah Joa Safo took over. So Okaikoi 2004, 2008. Sarah Joa Safo 2012, 2016. Now, Okaikoi's son is Okaikoi Jr. Very interesting issues in this constituency. So don't forget we said the factors that influence who's going to win, delegate, executive dynamics. Now, if you follow the news, there appears to be a split in the delegates based on the executive. So while the secretary of the constituency seems to be on Okaikoi's side, the chairman and other executives seem to be on Adwoa Safo's side. So that led to a bit of a back and a forth. Okay. Both of them have formidable parents. Adwoa Safo is the daughter of the great Kantanka man, the great industrialist and Pastor Christo Asafo. Okaikoi's father, pre-second, Speaker of Parliament, prelate, and all these good things. Now, they've run against each other before. Okaikoi lost in that race. We think that Sarah Joa Safo, now very interesting dynamic. A lot of the leadership in Parliament were protected, but Adwoa Safo wasn't. And we think it's because of Okaikoi's influence. Because Okaikoi is strong in the constituency. He's the ambassador to India. He has a machine. We know that some of his father's former executives will support him. But we think Adwoa Safo is in the lead for a number of reasons. She has various circles of support, both within Parliament and outside Parliament. Now, we think that because of even though the constituency is very urbanized, they've had a lot of developmental challenges, road issues. So, for example, if you're driving from Agbogba and you're going towards Abokobi, some of the roads are very, very bad. And Adwoa Safo has done a lot of interesting project launches. So you see her on TV or in the newspapers doing shortcutting for various road projects. Don't forget, she's the Minister for Procurement. So she's managed to bring some interesting road developments, although people have demonstrated in the constituency about poor roads, right? Now, it's very important to note that we are not talking about popular votes. For a lot of these constituencies, some of the candidates are doing national level type of campaign, even though they are aiming at delegates, right? And for which reason, Adwoa Safo's visibility is important with all the work she does with some of these road projects that she's launched, some of which is promised to finish before the election itself. So whoever wins this election is going to win the national. There's no doubt about that. We think that Okwe will do better this year than he did in the previous election. But we still think Adwoa Safo will win. We think Okwe will do better this time round because he's putting up a better fight. He's done his homework. But Adwoa Safo has different centers of support. We understand some of the delegates are part of the Christo Asafo contingency. So it's going to be difficult for Okwe to penetrate that. So, and as we've already said, the executives are split. So whilst Okwe, and these are 631 delegates, while Mike Okwe Jr. will do better this year than he did previously, we still think Adwoa Safo will nick it for Dome-Kwabenya. Okwe is my senior in Presec. He will not be happy with me. But this is our analysis. This is just prediction. Today is Wednesday. Things could change. But we are predicting Adwoa Safo win. Let's continue Greater Accra. We are going to Okaikoi South. Okaikoi South is a constituency where you have places like Kaneshi, Industrial Area, Bubuashe, Pamprum, First Light, a mixed constituency, very interesting constituency. 3 key contenders, Dakwa Newman, daughter of head of research of the NPP Flagstaff House called Victor Newman. Victor Newman, a long-time associate of Nana Akufo-Addo. Now you have Nana Fredua. Nana Fredua is the board chairman of the National Theatre. He's an NPP guy. Some people say he's part of the Chim Mafia. When I was at Radio University, Nana Fredua used to host a radio show there. He's a nice guy. A lot of people like him. Then there's Ahmed Arthur, 2-term MP. Now, the thing about Okaikoi South is that Nana Kwabenya is very influential. Nana Kwabenya is the CEO of the STC. And Nana Kwabenya's preferred candidate is Ahmed Arthur. So even though Dakwa Newman has made a lot of inroads, she's a constituency polling station women organizer. She's coming from a strong family. Her mother works for the First Lady. Father works for the President. Dakwa went to Legon, did political science, went to Warwick University, my university. She's very intelligent, articulate, and strong. Ahmed Arthur is one of those formidable incumbents who just have a way of winning. So this is what we are predicting. Because of, if it was just a straight fight between Dakwa and Ahmed Arthur, we would have said that Dakwa would win it. Now, we are not saying Fredua has going to get a lot of votes, but the fact that he's in the race, and Fredua, don't get angry with me, this is a bit of a nuisance value, right? Because if the people at the presidency want to remove Ahmed Arthur, you probably need one candidate. So basically, Nana Fredua is pouring Gary into Dakwa Newman's son into Dakwa Newman's Gary. So we're saying Ahmed Arthur is going to win this one slightly. Now, if Nana Fredua says, look, Dakwa, you are the one who can beat Ahmed Arthur, I'm going to withdraw. All my supporters vote for you. We think Dakwa can win. But if Fredua stays in the race, Ahmed Arthur is going to win. This is our prediction. Nana Fredua, don't get angry with me. I know you're a good guy, interview you, smart guy. But I think Dakwa is ahead of you in this race. And Ahmed Arthur could nick it because you're in the race. I'm not saying you're a bad guy. I'm just telling you my analysis based on all that we've heard. Nana Kwabenya is still very influential in that constituency. Ahmed Arthur to retain it. Now, I'll jump to Ashanti region. I need to play you a quick report. Now, Bantama. There's a song they say, Kakro, me, then I mean, you made Bantama, Kakro. Bantama and Ketu South during Kufuor time, huge constituencies. Bantama was split into 3. Now, we think that Bantama is not going to be as difficult as people predict. I'm going to take you to a report that we prepared. Then I'll tell you who we're predicting is going to win. This is a quick report that our correspondent in Ashanti region put together for Bantama.
Bantama constituency is one of the strongholds of the ruling New Patriotic Party in the Ashanti region. Over the years, votes by inhabitants here have seen the NPP lead other political parties, including its biggest opponent, the National Democratic Congress, in every general elections. The contest is between a sitting member of parliament for the area and a deputy chief of staff at the presidency. The MP, Daniel Ochem Abwaje, is also government spokesperson on finance in Ghana's parliament, while his contender, Francis Asensobwache, has played a rising role in the history of the party. The aspirants are making frantic efforts to reach out to deciders of their victory, the over 500 delegates in the area, and could not make time for an interview for this report. Nonetheless, their supporters are doing the talking for them. First, supporters of Daniel Ochem Abwaje.
Daniel Ochem Abwaje is a very active MP, and then he is able to unite with everybody. No matter how you are, he is able to unite all of us. So that's why I'm saying that Daniel Ochem Abwaje is the right person to choose.
My last 4 years, man, 2 man. Because of the entire amount 2 man say, Satan over 2 MPB, why a kukufu. Satan kukufu say, Nami Banopa, Susana Minino, and it, but of a tap I Minino, Mintimiade, and Tumobia Minino, and Timam Tumaku, but a few idea, or by MP. And I do so, yes, Yamu say, or born home. Supporters
of Asensobwache also spoke to us.
If any MP trying to come and win this election, we delegates, we have to know that we are going to take a trust person, the one who is going to take us to a place that we have never there before. So we all decided that Chief Asensobwache is coming. The one that the MP, the old MP, Ochem Abwaje, we all know that he is an ex. Whether we like it or not, he's an ex-MP. And we have a current man who is coming to help us, especially the delegates. And another especially, we women. Because when you come to delegate people, especially the women people, we are so precious. And we are the one who gave birth. So if Asensobwache take my daughter to any other place or give him or her a job, I'll be happy.
Paper show me free set obeti me din kunim. I ni wan nyina hu aso nyina ate eye honorable Chief Asensobwache.
Edintia.
Me pa cho bebre. Chese ye nua be ma no. Onyamayo. Na eniema waye wo Bantama no. Me kase me kan ene ye free hanko. Da bia me kase onye jene no akoye ni am yesu ni su wo ya handkerchief e repa ni su and say somewhere last year February no oye party ma women swing ho na me ni hu no ye come akoma ne say me devote me hu e dia ma no.
Daniel Ochem Abwaje unseated Henry Kobna Kokofu in the party's 2016 primaries to become the MP for the Bantama constituency. Francis Asensobwache, who is also seeking to unseat the current MP, now has the full backing of Mr. Kobna Kokofu.
The grounds are so solid. The delegates are yearning for him, and the entire populace, I mean the constituents of Bantama, the larger grouping, they are asking for him to assume the MPship this time round.
NPP chairman for Bantama constituency spoke about preparations ahead of the main exercise.
No place is going to go beyond an electoral area, and the electoral area has a maximum people of about 70. So 70 people in an area, and all the precautionary things that we have to do, we are doing. We have brought the various buckets, that we need to bring. We have sanitizers, and we are getting everything in place to keep everybody who is going to be voting very safe.
The Bantama constituency has been tipped as one of the hottest constituencies in the upcoming internal elections.
All right, so that was Hafiz Tijani's report. Well, look, it's not that hot. If you look at the factors we give, we think Ashanti is going to win. Dynamics, we think the executives are on Boache's side. Presidential support. I mean, in covering elections, there are certain times. I remember we went for a certain program. In the flag bearer's car, Ashanti Boache sat with him in the car. He's very close to the president, deputy chief of staff. This guy has, he set up TESCON. In 2012, he wanted to go for Bantama. He was impressed upon not to go. So even though a lot of people think Ashanti Boache is new, he's actually not that new. So Achema Boache beat Kokofu, did very well. Solid guy, he was on this show, Chop Chop. Government spokesperson on finance, did very well. But Ashanti Boache's roots in the NPP, in terms of his closeness to power, some of his work he did with TESCON, how he's nurtured the constituency, it's very clear he's going to win. So we don't even think it's going to be close. We think Ashanti Boache is going to win. It's not going to be close. So we've decided or predicted. Ochema Boache, we still like you, but this is just analysis. We think on all the factors we've put out, Ashanti is going to win. In Mpraeso is interesting. Now, in Mpraeso will shock you. Kennedy Kankam is the incumbent. Stephen Amwa, the CEO of Maslock, is the challenger. Now, two things. These two contested in a previous election. They are both youngish. Both are born around 77, 78. So they are in their early 40s. Now, two things. In Mpraeso was formerly the seat for Richard Anani. If you look at Richard Anani, he's one of the key people who opposed Akufo-Addo's presidency. NPP guy, strong in Ashanti, Dr. Anani. Strong Kufuor guy. Kennedy Kankam beat him. Kennedy wasn't given a position in the NPP. Stephen Amwa is Maslock. We don't think the presidency is overtly supporting any of them because we feel that the presidency hasn't come out to support Stephen Amwa. In fact, we've been told that he's asked him not to even do this. So we are not sure Stephen Amwa has the presidency support. Kennedy Kankam has not been given any position in government. But Kennedy Kankam's strength with the executives in the constituency puts him slightly ahead. Stephen Amwa, because of Maslock, may have more resources. But we are going to stick our neck out and go for Kennedy Kankam. Based on all that the people on the ground have said to us, Stephen Amwa is putting up a serious fight. These two are very young, both have a strong future in the party. We think Kennedy is going to beat Stephen Amwa slightly because Kennedy Kankam's rapport with his executives and his ability to, we've said that whoever maintains his executives can win the seat, and Kennedy Kankam has been very formidable in that regard. So Stephen Amwa put up a brave fight. This is one of the tricky ones, but we are going for Kennedy Kankam. You can check with us on Monday and say we were wrong or right, but this is our prediction. It's just a prediction based on analysis. We are not saying we support Kennedy. It's our prediction. Adansi Asokwa, before I take Adansi Asokwa, very interesting. K.T. Hammond has not been challenged before. One of the most experienced members of parliament, Deputy Minister for Energy, Interior. I mean, Richard Sky's great friend. We love K.T. Hammond. He's a good guy. We love him. But Samuel Binfo is formidable. This is the first time that K.T. Hammond has had somebody actually challenging him. Samuel Binfo is a former student leader. If you know a bit about Ashanti politics, whoever has Wontumi support has support. Samuel Binfo, we are told, is Wontumi guy. And on his own right, we've interviewed both men. K.T. Hammond would have preferred to go unopposed. So for the mere fact that the executives, don't forget there was a whole argument between the chairman of the party in the constituency, exchange of words and things. There was even some sort of scuffle in the constituency. K.T. Hammond has been frazzled. Now, this is going to be very controversial prediction I'm going to make. I think based on what we've analyzed, Samuel Binfo could topple K.T. Hammond. K.T. Hammond is known and loved, but there may be a bit of incumbency fatigue there. So this is our prediction. Honorable K.T., Citi is your friend. We love you. But this is our prediction. Prove us wrong. But based on analysis we've done, we think Samuel Binfo is going to give you a run for your money. If you win, good for you. But we think that this young man has done a lot of work. He seems strong on the ground. And he's going to do some interesting things there. Let me end the Ashanti with Ejisu before I go for another break. Ejisu, again, Ejisu is tricky. Ejisu was very difficult. In fact, the team was divided over Ejisu. So you have the Deputy Minister for Roads, Mr. Adiomi, and you have John Kuma, CEO of NEIP, and then Abena Amoaboite. Straight fight between John Kuma and Kwesi Owusu Adiomi. Kwabena Owusu Adiomi. Kwabena Owusu Adiomi, former Highways Authority guy. He's very quiet, but fear people who are quiet. He does his work on the ground. If you're a Deputy Minister for Roads and you're in the Ashanti region and you work in the highways, it means you know a thing or two about road contracts. So I'm sure he has a good relationship with contractors. What does that mean? Resources will not be lacking. But John Kuma, I've known him from university. In fact, in university, we did a debate. John Kuma, myself, and Mutala, Deputy Energy Minister, Deputy Minister under NDC, John Kuma, were doing debates on campus. John Kuma is a grassroots politician, student leader. John Kuma competed against Omani Boama for NUK's president. Legon SRC decided to support John Kuma, but Omani Boama was in the medical school, managed to beat John Kuma. So John Kuma lost the SRC election to Ekpo, lost to Omani Boama. He's lost a few elections, but he's a likable guy. And the information we're getting is that he's closing the gap. He's run against Odiomi and lost before. He's closing the gap. And if there's going to be any of the new faces that is going to win, don't forget we've shown you some new faces in Mpraeso. We said Davis will lose, David Asante will lose. We think that one of the new faces that would win is John Kuma, based on NEIP, based on his affable nature, and based on some of the work he's done on the ground with the young people in the constituency. NEIP, a lot of them have gotten jobs through John Kuma. A lot of delegates are looking for work. So Adiomi has resources, is formidable, he's a deputy minister. We think John Kuma will upset him. We may be wrong, we may be right. We are not saying we support John Kuma, we are saying John Kuma will upset Kwesi Owusu Adiomi. We'll come back. When we come back, I'm going to go to two of the most difficult constituencies to predict. We agonize over these two for a long time, and we will tell you what we think. In the meantime, I have some very interesting comments you sent in. Let me read a couple before I take the break. Now, please don't take this analysis wrongly. This is we are giving you the basis for our prediction. Good evening, Bernard. I think the NPP should have allowed for free and fair contest. The way some of the aspirants were disqualified, some of them may become independent. This is Dennis from Nungwa. Bernard, the Navrongo Central seat is a done deal from Madam Paulina Tangoba Abayage. This is from Orikizo Ozato. Good evening. You are a genius. All that you said about the Nkoko constituency is very true. It's like you live here with us. Keep the good work. May the best candidate win. However, I reiterate that there shouldn't be any internal bickering after the NPP primaries. NPP must be the winner. Kwesi Reynolds of Agona Odobing. Bernard, Haji Baba Denny is the best candidate for Yendi. He has been a grassroots man. He's been working for the party since 92 till date. He will surely be rewarded for his loyalty. Razak, when I come back, I'll do Yendi, I'll do Navrongo Central, and I will do Wenchi. If I have time, I'll even do Tema East. This is the point of view. We hope you're enjoying the show. These are our predictions, and you can tell us if you agree or not. Stay with us.
Imagine if you can get all the understanding on some of the difficult subjects you struggle with in school. As a student, do you feel dissatisfied with how hard it is to figure out the subject you're learning? Or as a parent or guardian, do you worry that your child is struggling to understand some of the subjects in school? Well, now you don't need to sign up for extra lessons or tutors. Simply tune in to Class Act, Mondays to Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on Citi TV. Class Act is a show that seeks to enable senior high school students gain a much better understanding of what they learn in school. All you need is a TV, a chair, your notebook, and your pen. Get clarity on subjects such as maths, English, IT, and science. Class Act airs every Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on Citi TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. Don't forget your pens, pencils, and your notebooks and tune in to Class Act, only on Citi TV.
Citi TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access Citi TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, Please press the menu button on the remote control and run a news search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the Go TV and Star Times box. Citi TV, it's your world.
Welcome back to The Point of View. Today we are predicting. This is not prophecy, it's just prediction based on what we know. And this is as of today. Things can change. First thing, in Mpraeso, we are saying the incumbent is going to retain a seat. In Koko, regional minister is going to win only just. Joyce Boateng is formidable. New Juaben South is too close to call. A week ago, Befi was leading. Ebo has made some inroads. Don't be surprised if Befi wins. Dome-Kwabenya. Okaikoi will do better this year than he did last time. But Ejisu will still win. This is our prediction. And then Okaikoi South, Amerata is going to retain the seat. We think that Fredua throws his sand into the Gary of Dakwa. Dakwa will win the seat one day. We are not sure whether it's this time because of the fact that they are three. Amerata is a strong incumbent. And then we went to Ashanti. We think it's easy. It's not going to be that difficult for Asenso to win Bantama. We think that Adansi Sokwa, Katie Amon is going to lose to Bimfo. We think that Stika will lose to, what's the name? Kennedy can come, but only just. It's going to be very close, very, very close. Stika, don't be angry with us. This is just what we are predicting. You can prove us wrong. Now, the most difficult constituency for me to analyze today is Yendi. Yendi is just too difficult. A lot of money is being spent in Yendi. In fact, we are told that Yendi is behaving like a presidential election. Some of the things they're doing in Yendi, building boreholes, renovating libraries, water projects, Yendi is massive. Now, 3 candidates for Yendi. We have, of course, Farouk Aliu Mahama. I interviewed him here, son of Aliu Mahama. Then we have the Hajia, who's the daughter of first MP for the area. And then we also have, indeed, Baba Dani interviewed. He's an accountant. Now, Baba Dani initially was the local boy, but he has some challenges with some issues. So we think his stock has fallen a bit. But it's not very clear who's going to win. So for Yendi, we can give you all the reasons. I mean, Farouk has support. He's spending a lot of resources, as is Hajia. But we can't tell you who's going to win. So Yendi, we are saying, is too close to call. Yendi is too close to call. We didn't show you the picture. You can just show it. Even if they have just showed the Yendi picture. There are 3 of them. Show me their picture. Yendi is too close to call. So we can't tell you who's going to win. Those of you who live in Yendi can tell me what you think. We don't know who's going to win because the dynamics are just too many. And everybody we've spoken to says, Yendi, we don't know. It may boil down to who spends the most money, which may not be healthy for the party. The other issue is that for some of the candidates in Yendi, depending on who wins, some could even go independent. Is that serious? Some could even go independent. So if you are an NPP executive listening, you need to watch this. I'm sure you know this, that if you don't manage the Yendi situation well, don't forget that there was a similar issue in one of the, I think, previous election where there was an independent candidate and NDC won. Yendi tradition is NPP, but NDC can pull a surprise if there's an independent candidate. Navrongo Central, Aviation Minister Joseph Kofi Ada, Upper East Regional Minister Miss Tangoba Abayage. Interesting race. Kofi Ada came by election 2003, has won 2004, 2008, 2016, lost in 2012. Miss Abayage, former ambassador to Italy, now minister for the Upper East region, very articulate woman. This race is confusing. The executives seem to be on Madam's side, just a few on Kofi Ada's side. Executives seem to be on Madam's side, but Kofi Ada is dealing directly with the delegates. Because of his experience, he's gone straight for the delegates. People are getting flat screen TVs. We understand money is also changing hands nicely. This is what happens with primaries. This is Hajia's first time contesting Kofi Ada. Both of them are ministers, but we think the presidency prefers the minister, the regional minister to the aviation minister. We don't know whether incumbency will disadvantage Kofi Ada because he knows the place, they know him. But being a minister in Accra from the Upper East region can have disadvantages because it means that you spend a lot of time in Accra and your opponent can do a lot of work in the region. So we are not sure. We are not going to lie. We are not sure. We are not sure who's going to win this one. Initially, we thought Madam was going to win. Then Kofi Ada started, because the executives were on Madam's side, but Kofi Ada is a formidable political player on the ground. President seems to prefer regional minister, but we are not sure. So we won't stick our neck out. We are not sure. You can tell us what you think. There are 598 delegates. Let me end with Wenchi. Wenchi is very, very interesting. 5 contenders for Wenchi. We think Professor Bantama is going to win, Minister for Planning. Wenchi is the hometown of Buzia. There are 5 contenders: Tina Abrefajan, Albert Ameyaw, Yaopoku Etiahini, and of course, Kojo Frimpong, known as Sheikhs. None of them is strong enough to beat Prof. If it was only one, you could have said that maybe Kojo Frimpong stood a chance. But Prof is too strong. So Kojo Frimpong, I'm sorry. I mean, when I was in Legon, Kojo Frimpong was my landlord. They call him landlord. He was the leader of Annex A. Very popular guy. Worked at Joy FM, sports journalist. Works at Ministry of Business Development. Jambafo is an economist, a planner. Quiet, confident, very respected in the NPP. Wenchi is one of the legacy NPP towns. Buzia's hometown. So there are just too many people in the race. None of them seem strong enough based on what we've done. We think Bafo is going to win. Kojo Frimpong, Tina Abrefajan, Yaopoku Etiahini, Albert Ameyaw. We wish you well, but we think that your incumbent minister is too strong. Let's read a few of your comments. Bernard, please check if Ijakwabre North in the Ashanti region, 6 strong aspirants. We didn't do enough work there. Bernard, my candidate is Honorable Afolekwe of Krowo. She is winning the seat hands down. Greetings to all contenders across, especially Michael Otrebefi, Hajia of Yendi. More comments coming through on this issue. Bernard, I'm tipping Adjoa Safo to win Dome-Kwabenya. I pray the delegates use the safety protocols in preventing COVID-19. I wish aspirants well. Bernard, Washroom constituency. It's going to be tough. Emmanuel from Suhum. Good evening, Bernard. I think Michael Kwe stands a chance if the vote album is not changed. Frontline Love Atema. Vote album is a big issue. I wish them well. Bernard, please spend considerable time to dissect dynamics in the Navrongo Central constituency, Fulham Central region. Solo, we say we are not sure who's going to win. Initially, we thought Madam was going to win. Certain things have happened. We feel that incumbent has made a strong comeback, so we can't tell who's going to win that seat. Kwesi Reynolds, may the best candidate win. However, I reiterate that there shouldn't be any internal break-in after the primaries. NPP must be the winner after the primaries. All the best to aspirants. And then, Bernard, good evening. Thanks for your predictions. Imano Nasa in Tamale. Now, Bernard, can you analyze new Botiano Glacier Manfro? I don't have enough information. Let me end with Tema East. Titus Glover has fought a lot of battles. His good friend Kempis Ofosuwari was the MC and the NDC. Titus won by a few votes. Now, I don't want to say Titus will lose, but the candidate Titus is going up against has strong links to both the MCE and the regional minister. And Titus is up against a fight. Titus is up against a very, very big fight if he's going to retain Tema East, because Ashite has the right connections. NDC is really aiming at Tema East. The former MCA is the candidate they've chosen. So I don't know who's going to win for MPP, but it's not a done deal for MPP at all. Tema East is one of the seats NDC is really aiming at taking. So I just wish both Titus Glover and Mr. Ashite well. We don't know who's going to win, but it's going to be, look, mark me my words, 2020 Tema East, very interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed. We wish all the candidates well. We don't have time to go through all, but on Saturday, the big issue will do analysis of all the constituencies. In fact, we're going to start our coverage on Saturday from 9 o'clock. And we're going to cover till 5 p.m. back to back. I'll be on, Godfred will be on, all the guys will be on. We have some interesting guests we are bringing from across the country to give you full coverage of the NPP primaries, to let you know what's going to happen. We have live reports from all over the country. We hope you've learned something new. Thank you for staying with us on The Point of View. This was a new format. I enjoyed it. Please, those who I say you won't win, it's not because they need to. I'm just saying, I beg, if you win, don't say Bernard Avle, say you won't win this seat. No. I wish you well. Have a peaceful election, and may Ghana be the best. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Point of View is powered by Airtel Tigo Extra. Even our bonus data doesn't expire. You the film? Dial *111# to activate now. Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.